Hello, I'm John Myler. I'm a student at National University, and this video presentation is for a screenplay that I wrote titled The Gathering, which is an animated epic adventure. The story of The Gathering is inspired from one key verse in the Bible. According to Genesis 7:15, the animals went to Noah, not the other way around. Just as God spoke to Noah, He also spoke to animals all over the world. In a way, you could say the animals were the animal kingdom counterpart to Noah. And similar to the patriarch Abraham being called to the promised land, these animals were prophetically compelled to go to a place that they'd never seen for reasons that they couldn't understand. These animals were unique because they did not attack each other. Instead, they entered the ark in orderly fashion, 2 by 2, without any human intervention. This is exactly the opposite of the rest of the animals in the world, because the Bible tells us that all flesh was corrupt and violent. But the animals called the Noah's Ark, they were unusually peaceful. I have questions about what really happened on their journey to the Ark. I have a feeling that the real story could be a lot more exciting than the Sunday school image of Noah's Ark with happy animals on a boat under a rainbow. Telling the story should involve courage and sacrifice. Maybe some animals gave their lives so that others could make it. And the forces of evil and darkness throughout the world at that time, they did everything imaginable to stop them, and yet they prevailed. So with these ideas swimming around in my head, I came up with The Gathering, which is an ancient world giving the backstory to a group of animals that made it to Noah's Ark. This story dwells in between the lines of Genesis chapter 6 and 7. My first objective was to depict a peaceful world going corrupt. This is remaining faithful to the original narrative. Star, the protagonist eagle, introduces us to the terrain. Everything is peaceful at first. We see some sheep grazing in the savannah, and then we eventually arrive at a pride of lions led by a righteous leader, a wise gray-maned old lion named Joktan. The main protagonist is Judah, Joktan's grandson. He rescues an injured cave lion and brings him back to the pride. No good deed goes unpunished, as it turns out that this cave lion, Nephrim, eventually forms a rebellion and takes over the pride. In fact, he even kills Judah's grandfather by throwing him into the deadly river Necros. He also tries to kill Judah, but Judah miraculously survives the river. This is the beginning of the story, where Judah's life is turned upside down, and he encounters a host of animals that have no idea how much they're going to need him. Following the horrific deaths of both of Judah's parents, in addition to his grandfather, Judah becomes obsessed with visions of a mysterious mountain that his parents also dreamed about. They didn't know what it meant, but Judah, he's about to find out. It is this vision that gives Judah the will to live. Aside from Judah's quest for this mountain in his dreams, other characters are on a path in their destinies as well. They all must work together for the survival of their species. My second objective for this story is to use metaphoric symbols to incorporate biblical themes. This story not only documents the flood of Noah, but everything about it is inspired from the Bible, starting with all of the names of the characters. Redemption, sacrifice, faith, courage, all of these themes are explored throughout the events and symbols as the story unfolds. Highlighting each of the main protagonists, I begin with Star, the majestic eagle. He serves as the master coordinator. He rallies the animals all over the world into hidden enclaves protected from the violent world. He is commissioned directly from Noah himself to find these animals chosen to come aboard the ark. Just as the star of Bethlehem led wise men to a Savior, this star is pointing the animals of the world in the direction of their Savior, who is Noah. Next we have Eloshova, a black sheep, an outcast among his flock. Even though he has experienced great tragedy when his mate is killed by a pack of wolves, he is still filled with such compassion that he saves the life of a wolf in need. Eloshova is eventually faced with the choice of a great sacrifice to save his little lambs and the lives of his friends. And this story of redemption would not be complete if it did not include the redemption of the serpent species, because snakes were saved aboard the ark as well. Who is the main protagonist's constant companion, giving healing to his heart after the deaths of his parents? Here the serpent is a healer. And who is it that has all of the clever ideas to save the animals from certain death? It is the serpent, who is commended for her cleverness with the idea to mask the scent of the lambs with wolves' pelts as they trek through the deadly wolves' territory undetected. And last but not least, we have the main protagonist, Judah, who faces certain death with courage and faith to lead the animals to safety and a new life in a new world. Judah's trust and compassion seems like a weakness after his own kind turned against him when he returns to his pride in peace, searching for his soulmate, a lioness named Nimbi. But the power of love combined with faith proved to be an unstoppable force, even in the face of death. All the forces of nature bringing about the end of the world, in addition to a vengeful pride of hate-filled lions and ravaging wolves, cannot keep this remnant of animals from making their way to the mountain of gathering. Near the end, it seems that all hope is lost, as the animals face a wall of flames spread across the base of the mountain of gathering like a sea of fire. But even this cannot stop Judah as he exercises the supernatural power of faith. We all know how the story ends. These animals make it to the top of the mountain, and they come face to face with Noah himself and his ark of salvation. But it is in the journey of this story that we are so caught up into the lives of these animals, into their trials, their tribulations, and their sacrifices, that we lose sight of the fact that this story is something that most people are familiar with. We just never heard it told quite like this. I hope you've enjoyed this brief presentation, and I hope even more that you, or perhaps someone you know, will consider reading a sample of this screenplay. It is a dream of mine to see this story presented to the world, so that my children and children all over the world will see the story of Noah's Ark in a way that they'll never forget. Thank you for your time.